Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Kim. I want to thank all of you for subscribing and watching the channel. We are past 1,000 subscribers. It's so exciting to see the channel come this far. So yes, a very big thank you to you all. Our orchid community friend Yoshi has reminded me that we need to do a celebration, so we'll do a celebratory video soon. As many of you know, spring is a really busy time for me because I'm working on my vegetable garden. All right, today we are going to talk about 3 massive specimen size orchids that I'm losing and how I'm trying to rescue them. This was a good lesson for a beginner. This first orchid we will be tackling is a Skinneri hybrid with no tag. And you have seen this orchid on a featured video titled Why I Am Keeping My Viral Infected Cattleya Hybrid. The link will be below this video in the description box if you want to take a review of it. The Skinneri cross has given me a lot of joy, and the color and the fragrance was always intriguing. Here's the bloom in 2020, and the plant was massive in a clay pot. And here's the bloom in 2021. In 2022, the color became more muted and there is less differentiation between the petal sepal and the tongue. So you see how the color of the blooms has changed because of the virus. And the virus that I'm referring to is called the Cymbidium mosaic virus, CYMV. And I know that orchid is in bloom right now, so it's probably not a great idea to repot it, but I really do need to do it for the health of the orchid because I notice it hasn't been growing very well. And time-wise, this is what I have time right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. I did go ahead and cut off the bloom first so that I can still enjoy the bloom in water. And you've seen where it's bloomed. Every cane has bloomed. Well, as you can see, most of the roots are very dried and died off. Just the surface area might have some roots that are viable. Let me try to separate some of these off. You can't tell, but the roots feel very hollow and dried up. Okay, now we have 2 clumps. Let's take a look at the first clump. Trying to remove all the pseudobulbs that have black at the base, as well as dead roots. And it looks like this entire clump right here is bad. And let's open it up some more and happen to see if there's anything left that could be salvaged. This is all the roots are gone on this piece. And that's all black, and all the eyes are also black in this area. And I think I see signs of fusarium as well. Let me see if I can find a pseudobulb that here. This one might give us a better idea. You see the purple ring around the edges of that pseudobulb? My best guess is that it's not the Cymbidium mosaic virus that's causing the blackened pseudobulb. It's the fusarium. Well, there's this little part right here, but I'm not sure how long that's going to take for it to grow. And I see one eye right here that's potential that can grow into something, but my goodness, it's going to take forever. I don't think I'm going to put in the effort to revive this one. I think I'm going to toss it out. So really, I actually have 2 pieces that might be able to grow, 2 eyes that might be able to grow, but I realized that it's a sick plant and the virus is still in those 2 possibilities. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this orchid. It's time to let it go. I think it's perfectly safe to keep an orchid with a discoloration virus. So the only thing is you have to just be careful about cutting into the orchid and not contaminating with a cut into another orchid. I remember that when I watched Summer Rain's Oaks tour the Longwood Garden, she had learned that some of the orchid growers there had kept some of their precious orchids that have a minor issues with virus that causes discoloration. Okay, this next orchid that is a specimen size orchid that I am losing is BC Yellowbird. And this one is in my sunbroom from 2021 picture. And here it is again growing outside is the one on your left, and we will talk about the one on the right, the BC CALiMAGic as well later. And this is the latest video of it in bloom in my sunroom just this past winter. And if you can see, it's so congested inside the pot. It's in its original pot ever since I got it from Lowe's, about 3-4 years ago. Well, you're wondering, how did it get this bad? And I'm gotta confess, I got lazy. And also the growth rate of this orchid was so fast, it got me overwhelmed. What I'm going to do is break off some of the newer pieces off the edge of the pot and see if I can start a new pot of just the pieces. And I'm going to give a friend the main pot who had asked for some pieces. And I'm just going to keep a small pot of it. And the whole point was doing this is to try to keep all my orchids in a smaller pot so I can handle many orchids at a time when I come in and out in the winter. And unfortunately, this orchid was a loner. It had to be handled just by itself, and it couldn't be sat down on a tray anywhere. It does have a hook, so it does hang, but when I need to put it down, it wasn't going to be able to put it down easily without damaging the roots. Okay, after a long soaking, I am ready to divide it, and this is what I have. This is the main piece that I'm going to give to a very good friend. And then I also broke many small pieces off, which out of this bundle, I will probably give also half to another friend who would like some. And I'll end up with a 4-inch pot with just a few pieces that is much more manageable. You know, I don't see this orchid at Lowe's anymore. I remember about 4 years ago, I saw it so often that it would be one of the last ones that is left on the shelf in a bag. And now it's rarely offered. Mostly Cattleya hybrids now are at Lowe's. And this next one, the third one, is BC CALiMAGic, and this is a picture of it in 2020 in its prime, and it's like a bouquet of flower. Let me take you back to 2018. This is when I first got the orchid from a friend who had ordered it with William Youngblood, and the friend couldn't grow this in the apartment that he was living in because it didn't have enough lighting, and it should have been in blooming size, and it didn't bloom, so he gave it to me, and I brought it home. And it was 2018 that I potted in this Vanda basket, and inside the basket to hold all the wood bark was a lining. The lining is a mosquito fabric netting that is used to make screens for windows. I thought it was a good idea at the time, but not such a good idea if you have to remove the orchid for repotting. And the reason why I did not repot all these years is that the orchid was very attached to the basket right from the get-go. Here's a picture of it after about 1.5 years in the basket. The roots were so integrated into the mosquito netting and the Vanda basket that it was impossible to detach any of the pieces of the plant without really killing the plant or killing parts of the plants. So I just didn't have the heart to pull it out. And I didn't realize that a year later, it was going to start deteriorating. And as you can see in the basket is already starting to deteriorate, turning darker color. And some of the roots were turning darker color too, that's showing root rot. And as you can see, the orchid has lost a lot of leaves already, so there are many leafless pseudobulbs. That set this poor orchid up for failure by allowing it to cling to the Vanda basket. But I was such a beginning grower at that time, and I still am somewhat. And this is a really good lesson how not to grow an orchid, or this particular orchid anyway. So what I did is break off a few pieces to keep, and there weren't many pieces. I'll show you a pot. It's just 2 pieces actually. And I'm going to give the main part to a friend that may want to deal with it and see what she can get out of it. William ordered this from Carmela Orchids, so I'm going to keep an eye out and see if they have it again. So my biggest lesson for the Brassavola hybrids is to pot it in something that can be unpotted from easily. That's why I'm doing more clay pebbles and coconut bark or coconut core or large bark. I have my Brassavola Little Star on a huge mount, and I hope it will be okay long term, but just in case, I will take small pieces of that also and put in a 4-inch pot and start a new orchid for insurance. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me on this one, and thank you so much for always all your support. I hope to have more videos coming out soon. Weekends have been becoming so much more busy because I'm teaching my youngest how to drive. It's hard to believe he's 15 now. Well, let's do a celebratory video soon. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.